Hello.
Hi,
Happy
everyone.
Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. It's a holiday week, right?
Is a holiday
so I
week.
hope that you are watching. So happy Canada Day to our Canadian fans, which we have many of. And I am also Canadian, so of course I need to acknowledge that. And so on the weekend, our Canadian followers celebrated their Independence Day, and tomorrow, a big happy 4th of July to all of our American followers and audience for Travel Talk Live and Gift in general, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a fun week.
It's a fun week.
This morning I was like, I wish we could have Wednesdays off every week. It's just because sometimes I feel like we've done so much, just did Monday and Tuesday alone, that was like enough for a one full work week. So we are back for our 11th episode of Travel Talk Live.
Oh, wow.
Woo woo! Isn't that amazing?
No, that's amazing. 11.
Right?
I'm surprised you're
Let's
counting.
See, are we up? Are we
I'm
up?
trying
I
to
see
find
you're
it. There we
looking.
go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look too. So while we're waiting for Facebook to notify our audience and people that follow us that we are live, if you are joining us and you are ready for another educational, entertaining, and energizing
And we
session,
have a really, really good show for today.
Go
I'm
ahead
excited
and leave a
about
comment.
the theme of the show.
Let's see.
I think it's
When's
going
that
to be
coming
really good. I think it's going to be really helpful. This is the theme of today's show. I'm not going to reveal it yet, but it is
Gotta build the
something
anticipation. There
that
we go.
I think no matter where you are on the entrepreneurial journey, this is going to help you.
I know.
You can be at the very beginning. You can be well into it, and it's still going to help you.
Yes. We've got a great audience brewing here, so if you are excited for today's show, go ahead and leave a like and a love, and also drop a note here to say you're here. I see Tamika, I see Bridget, I see Lisa Fitzgerald. Hey, Lisa. And we're excited and ready to roll. Well, yeah, so leave a note, leave a comment, and then we'll call you out in case, it says, sometimes it tells us you're on, but you don't actually leave a comment, so it's kind of like you're lurking. So we don't want to call out a lurker. Of which we know we have many lurkers lurking around the fan page.
We definitely have quiet lurkers.
Yes. Hey, Megan, all the way in Napa. Nice to see you on here.
Yeah.
So it's Travel Talk Live. It's Tuesday. We're in our 11th. We're on a roll, 11th episode, and if you've been watching Travel Talk Live for any period of time, you know that Meredith and I show up on here for a 30-minute segment. It's like your Kathy Lee and Hoda of the travel industry.
That's what we want it to be. We might be giving ourselves a little too much credit.
That's true. That's probably true.
No.
We can still have goals, right? Hashtag goals.
Yes.
And we deliver this show not just because we want to laugh and have fun, because we like to laugh and have fun, but also because we've aggregated all this knowledge and we have so many great resources and success stories to share within our gift community. And we wanted an outlet beyond gift membership that's to the general travel agent community at large, to be able to share what we're finding and just to be able to inspire you to take your own action in your business. Yeah. So that's really the intention. We're really excited that we are, in our 11th week, and we're going to keep going. And we've got some weeks there in the summer. I've got a big trip coming up. You've got vacation coming up where we might have some special guests pop in as well, especially when I'm out of the office. We have people scheduled to come in and be with Meredith. So you'll see like a few ebb and flows of it, but we are always going to show up on this fan page consistently.
We're committed.
Every Tuesday.
We're all in.
We are. So we're excited. So if you're excited for the show,
I like Nancy Drolich. She said she's a lurker.
Look. We have a special guest that's not part of Gift. He shall remain nameless unless he wants to reveal himself. That's exciting. I'm excited for this guest. So today we have a topic. It's a juicy topic. I know Lisa Fitzgerald's absolute favorite word.
We have to be drinking wine the whole time if we want to be really Hoda and Kathy.
Oh, this is true.
That's what Pam was saying.
Yeah, you're right, Pam. How about you ship us some or buy us some from next door? We can start drinking. It's 5 o'clock.
We tried to do that on
we did
Travel Entrepreneurship Week.
But it was like at the end of the day, so I felt like that was more appropriate. So today's topic requires as much time as we can give it, right?
Yeah,
because it is just so chock full of twists and turns and questions and comments and stories
valuable.
And super valuable. So Meredith, you're very passionate about sharing this topic. So why don't you we'll start with what we're going to talk about, and then I guess a member shout out, right?
Yeah. So the theme today is all about charging service fees, owning your value, and being able to have a sales conversation. I think that so many of you guys are incredibly good at the selling, the planning side, the research side,
the itinerary,
and you throw yourselves into it, and you have you apply yourself so well when it comes to the research and doing the right thing for your client and finding the right itinerary and the right special places, all of that. But when it comes to having an initial conversation with your client, a lot of you fall short, and there's a ton of mindset blocks that come up, and there's a lot of you that are very, very afraid to charge a service fee or are completely against it. And we want to talk about that today.
Yeah, we want to have a real conversation.
Yeah.
We want to be
because it's
really open.
Number one, it's a very solid way to increase your revenue. And most of you, I think, wouldn't mind an extra.
Well, and especially with the cyclicality of how we get paid in this industry,
exactly.
right? If you're just starting, I remember when I first started on the booking side of the industry and I purchased a travel franchise at the time. And then it started to dawn on me, wait, so if I sell the trip, I'm not going to get paid until when? I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to work. I can't wait 8 months for that commission.
So true.
I was like gobsmacked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did I not realize this before entering into this business?
Yeah.
You know, but that's a real challenge.
So awesome. So what we're going to start with is our member shout out. And what we want to do is our member shout out today goes to every single one of you that is actually charging service fees. Consistently.
I want to add consistently
and have
to
gotten
that.
over the hump, over the fear, and are doing it anyway. So yes. So
And that when
people
you-
that we can think of
Yeah.
that didn't charge fees that now do. Jennifer Round, who is one of our experts
in action in the gift community.
She actually now teaches everybody about like how to have that conversation, how to do it. She's incredibly helpful, incredibly valuable. But Jennifer started from a place of not charging a fee, so she's a fantastic role model for you.
And Jennifer and her mom have owned Sladen's Travel now for decades, right?
Yeah.
So they like you said, they weren't, and then they started.
Yes.
And they had a book of business, and then they transitioned. But you know, a big member shout out in the gift community of who started charging fees the minute she decided that, okay, I'm going for my travel business. She was dabbling with her travel business on the side as she had her very successful full-time career. But the minute she decided to go full-time in her business, she started charging service fees immediately, and she does not waver.
Right.
That's Sandy Lipkowitz.
That is Sandy Lipkowitz.
We make travel easy.
Absolutely. So Sandy, shout out to you
really
too.
Big shout out to Sandy Lipkowitz out in San Francisco.
What I love about Jennifer's story, and even probably true with Sandy as well, is their business has skyrocketed since they started charging fees. They are getting much better bookings. They're not working as hard, and they're making more money. So there are so many compelling reasons to charge a fee, because it's actually one of the things that I love about charging fees is it's a great filter. It's a great filter.
You missed one key thing about what charging fees does for them, doesn't it? It really deepens their sense of worth.
Absolutely.
They really think, if we really look, we know Jennifer and Sandy and other members of the community charging fees, and I really don't feel like they have as many like sort of worthiness issues that keep them stuck as much.
But I would argue that it happened in the other order.
This is true.
They were able to own their value, own their worth, and once they did that, once they went through the process of doing that, they were able to go ahead and charge the fee.
Right.
And so now charging fees consistently just reinforces it.
Yes.
People are loving
that.
That
was a good reframe there, Meredith. Thank you for that. And if that helped you, I'm like, that's a really important component to this.
Yeah.
Is understanding the mindset. And we'll talk about that in a little bit too. So big shout out,
to all of you who charge fees. I'm loving the conversation.
I know. So I mean, so many of you are.
I love Pam Smith-Gall. It's like, I love charging fees.
Please go ahead and drop a comment.
Yes.
And you know what? Drop a comment if you're charging fees. And I want to encourage strongly encourage you, if you're not charging a fee and you're feeling a little nervous, be vulnerable. And I promise that this thread and this space of the gift community here for Travel Talk Live is very safe, and we're nice people. Nobody's going to jump down your throat, I promise. So if you're feeling nervous about charging fees, you're not really sure where to start, or you have like an objection that keeps coming up for you, drop it in the comment and we'll address it. And I know others can speak to it as well.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's the shout out.
That is the
so
shout out.
let's talk about, we always talk about when it comes to our topic.
We have a business tip,
right,
and then a mindset tip.
Right.
Yeah. So the business tip is start to charge fees. And we kind of just discussed that right now. Like,
just start.
Why? There are so many really good reasons. For one, I think you want to give your prospect some hoops to jump through to work with you. Mm-hmm. You don't want to make it as easy as possible to work with you, because then you won't value yourself and they won't value you. So what's really, really cool, I think, is we've got some consistency going on here at GIFT this week. I'm impressed with ourselves. Give ourselves a pat on the back. But today's easing article is a script for the opening sales conversation and introducing your fee.
Ta-da!
So if you want a script that will really help you through it, go see today's easing, or just go to the Travel Business U website and look at the most recent blog post.
And if the easing is every single Tuesday between 10 and 10:30 Eastern Standard, an email hits your inbox from Meredith. She's been doing it every single week for 7.5 years without missing a beat. And she always tells us what's going on, a personal intro, and then she always delivers a high content newsletter. If you are not getting that weekly newsletter, go to travelbusinessu.com and sign up for the newsletter right there. And you can also click over to the blog tab and read the article too. If you thought you were signed up, but it's just not in your inbox, of course, check your spam. And if you're totally at a loss, just email us, info@travelbusinessu.com.
Yep.
You got to read that article.
Yep. So today's article is the conversation and a script for charging a fee. Now, continue on our spectrum of being consistent.
Yes.
Tomorrow, the how-to video for GIFT members, the weekly how-to video,
members only,
is going to be
Lisa
Fletcher.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
It's going to be Lisa Fletcher talking about how to have a sales conversation and introduce your service fee.
Yeah.
So you get it in written form, and then you're going to get it on video too if you're a GIFT member.
Yes.
So how cool is that?
Extremely cool. Big
Very cool.
Yes.
Obviously, we think it's important here at GIFT that you start charging a fee, because that's, you have to, if you don't see yourself as a professional, your clients and prospects aren't going to either. So
it really is as simple as that. You know, I love Sandy's opening line.
Yes.
Right? We've repeated this so many times. It's just so simple and so effective. After she has a getting to know you conversation with this prospect, especially if it's obviously not a client that she's worked with before. They talk about what's important to them on the trip, and she goes over a few ideas. And then when she's ready to start the sales conversation,
and she builds her value.
She builds, of course, lets them know about connections and opportunities and experiences that she can curate. But when it's time to start this conversation, the wonderful transition and the phrase that she uses, so let me tell you how I work. And then she starts.
And then
with
she
that.
Talks about
and
the
then
fee.
Ending with, I'll send you over my service fee agreement. Just
Which
go ahead
card
and sign
should we
that.
use?
Right. And then, through
Which
whatever
card do you want
account
to put
she
that
uses. So let me tell you how I work. So, all right, we've got some good feedback. Lisa Fitzgerald charges fees too. Awesome.
I think that's the business tip.
Yes.
So let's move to the mindset tip, because I think this is the reason why you're not charging a fee if you're not, or if you're not doing it consistently.
The mindset tip.
The mindset tip.
Everybody shake it off. We're about to go deep. Because it's not about the service fee.
So the mindset tip is about owning your value. And if you're not charging fees consistently or not at all, the reason why you're not doing it is because you truly don't own your value. And
how do they know, other than the obvious of not being consistent?
Right, exactly. That's the only way you would know that you don't own your value.
Okay.
So I want to tell you a little story. And actually 2 different stories.
Okay.
So over the weekend, I took my son, Charlie, to the Whitewater Center.
I love Charlie.
Because, I know,
I've
he's
not
so
been
cute.
to the Whitewater Center in ages.
It was so fun. But anyway, so we're going on a cruise in August to Alaska. And one of the shore excursions that we all want to do, except Charlie, is a really cool zip line tour in Alaska. How cool is that, right?
Cool.
Charlie doesn't want to do it because he's afraid of zip lining.
Aww.
He's afraid of heights, and he's very adamant. He does not want to do this. So my theory was, let's take him to the Whitewater Center.
Okay.
Do it locally.
Okay.
Ease him into it. Get him comfortable, because I know that once he does it, he's going to love it and enjoy it. And
pretty logical,
right?
Okay,
Yes.
what happened?
All right, so we did, and we ziplined, and he didn't really like it the first couple times.
Hashtag mom fail.
Not really, not yet, no. But
Okay.
The very last time he did it, he's like, okay, I do like this. I see he's like, yeah, I think we'll do this in Alaska. But in the meantime, the other thing we did while we were there was they have fantastic ropes courses. So here's my child who is admittedly afraid of heights. And the reason why he doesn't want to do zip line is because he's afraid of heights.
Okay.
And we start to do the ropes courses, and Brian and I are looking at each other like, is he going to freak out? When's he going to freak out? Because he's, the first thing he did was climb up this huge pole, and then you have to get to the top and jump, free fall.
Talk about trust.
And he was the first one to the guy comes up to us, says, who's going to be first? And Charlie's like, I am. So we're like, okay, when is he going to realize that there's heights involved and he's going to freak out? And he didn't freak out. And then on the ropes courses, there were times where he fell and he didn't freak out. Or even at the very first zip line, he got to the top of the platform. He's all harnessed up. The guy's doing his little security check or safety check. Mm-hmm. And he's like, are you ready? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, okay, go. And then poor Charlie's like, and then he stood up and he went. And so I had a conversation with him afterwards. And I said, Charlie, I learned something about you today. And he said, what is that? And I said, well, here's the thing. One of the things that I believe, and I teach in my business, is that we all have a brilliance. Mm-hmm. And, at your age, I think there are some kids who it's really obvious what their brilliance is.
Yes.
It might be that they're really, really good in school, and it's very obvious. Or they're very, very good at a sport, or maybe they're very good at all sports, and that's part of their brilliance. They're very, very good athletically, or academically, or with friends, or they're really good at being funny, right? But not everybody. It's so obvious. It's not so obvious for every single person. And there are some people where it's not so obvious what their brilliance is, but that doesn't mean you don't have one. Right. It just means it's not so obvious. And so I think I saw today part of your brilliance based upon how you handled the heights and being scared and just doing it anyway and not freaking out. There were lots of moments where he could have completely lost it. Yeah. Totally lost it. And a lot of people would have if they had the fear that he had. And so I think part of his brilliance is courage and being able to step outside his comfort zone freely and willingly.
And charging fees is big time out of people's
Absolutely.
comfort zone.
So now let's move to story number 2, which was the other day I was walking my dog, and sure enough, a squirrel comes by. He's a little terrier, and I think he was bred to hunt small rodents like squirrels. And so anyway, so he freaks out every single time he sees a squirrel, and he just goes straight into hunt mode, and I'm gonna catch this thing, and runs up the tree and flies off. And so but I had this moment of but that's his brilliance. My dog, even the dog has a brilliance. His brilliance is being a fantastic hunter of rodents or squirrels or whatever, birds, whatever it is. But he was never taught that. He was born with it. That's how he is wired. He is incredibly skilled at that, at being, noticing it and being speedy and, whatever. So the moral of the story is we all have a brilliance and we all have the ability to be that good at something. And imagine if I were to guide my dog into being a better hunter, if I were to give him guidance and training, and he'd be even better at it, but he's already really, 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 really good at it without any kind of guidance. And that's what I want you guys to know, is that you all have that ability for something. You are born with a brilliance, and you can be that good and even better if you hone it. But if you don't know what that is, all you have to do is look at your passions, because your passions are your hints at what your brilliance is. And so if you are watching this and you have a business selling travel, or you want to have a business selling travel, guess what? Travel is your passion.
Yes.
So you can be that good. You're already naturally that good.
Yeah.
At planning travel.
Yeah, I mean, think
if
about
you're that passionate
so many
about
of you
it.
Just light up like a Christmas tree every time it's time to start talking about a trip experience. Right?
Exactly. You're that good at knowing what is going to create the kind of experience that someone is asking you to create. So that's how I want you to start to own your value, is to realize that you're born that way. It's natural to you. You couldn't have a passion for it if you didn't have that brilliance.
And even if you're really, really new, which I know, like Megan, for example, I know you're very new to this industry, and maybe you don't have the confidence in curating a trip experience the way somebody like Lisa Fitzgerald with 30 years of experience. But the common denominator between the two of them is that, Megan, you have this innate desire within you, or this innate knowing that travel is transformative, and that it can heal, and that it brings out the best in people, and that whatever that means for you, you know deeply how powerful travel is. We all share that.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're brand new and you're having a hard time finding the confidence to say the kind of things that I say in that script, I recommend you surround yourself with people who are farther along in that spectrum, in that journey than you are.
So let's bring it back just a little bit, because I know you're talking a lot, and it's very obviously resonating a lot about finding your brilliance and knowing your, getting clear on that. Can you help connect the dots specifically as to how that relates to service fees in terms of like the mindset side of it, right?
Right. So the reason why you're struggling with charging a service fee, one of the biggest reasons why, I'm not going to say it's the only reason, but one of the most critical reasons why you struggle with charging a fee is because you don't own your value. And the way you own your value is to identify your brilliance and realize that you are born with a brilliance, not to just kind of hide it and hoard it all your life. You're born with it so that you can use it to make a positive difference on other people's lives. It's, a lot of times I call it a medicine. It's like we all are born with this medicine. Not everybody needs your medicine. You would be a very exhausted person if everybody walking on this planet needed your medicine. So it's good that not everybody needs your medicine. So really your job is to figure out what your medicine is and who needs it. So for example, Shannon LeBlanc, her medicine is knowing how to keep, what is her tagline? Not just fall in love, to stay in love through romantic travel experiences. Right? So she's a romance travel expert, and her medicine is knowing how to keep the love alive in relationships.
Keep the spark alive.
Keep the spark alive. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool.
So she doesn't need to help a multi-generational family to Alaska. She doesn't need to help the wine club go on the river cruise to Europe. Like, she's not interested in that.
Yeah.
She's just interested in finding couples at whatever stage of their marriage. Obviously, the obvious place is at the honeymoon phase, but she also helps couples specializing or celebrating a special anniversary trip too,
or baby
moons. That she really wants to capture the couples right at the early stage of their marriage, and then encourage them to keep traveling, because she wants them to not just fall in love but stay in love. And she also friends her clients on Facebook and has them in a weekly e-zine, and she has like a cookbook, and she gives tips, and she inspires to her own actions about all of her wonderful things that she does with her partner. So it's all very brand congruent.
Very brand congruent. So
that's
her medicine
a service fee.
Is knowing how to keep the love alive, knowing how to keep the spark alive in a romantic relationship through romantic travel experiences.
Yes.
Not everybody needs that.
Yeah.
she's clear on who needs her medicine, and she's very clear on what her medicine is. And because
of that, she can charge a fee.
She owns her value.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I see how this is valuable. I see how I can make a positive difference in other people's lives. And there is an exchange that happens when you are giving something of value to somebody. They want to exchange value. Right? They don't want it for free. Like, there's an awkward imbalance when it happens that way.
Tax accountant person didn't charge me a fee, I
you
would
wouldn't
be
value
very nervous that my taxes were not being done correctly. I actually felt really good about the big bill that I paid this year for the person because I'm like, he's a professional. He's been in the business for so long. He's so I value him. It's the same thing with like somebody that does your hair.
Right.
I'm like, ladies, if you need a full head of highlights, are you going to trust the person
who's charging you $5 for it?
The answer to that is no.
Exactly.
You want somebody that, you don't want somebody that's going to completely take you to the cleaners, but you want somebody that's fair and equitable and charging what they're worth because they studied the science of hair and they know the right things and they have the right treatments and chemicals. Do I question what's in there when I'm getting the foils? No, I trust. And I hand over my money because I need my roots sorted out, which is what we both did on Friday, because I saw that in your calendar too, right? We both had our hair done on Friday, which is why it's top of mind. The point is that you pay for services in a variety of forms, and in a variety of industries. So why shouldn't
it's not only that. What I want you to understand is you feel awkward if there's not a balanced exchange of value.
Yeah.
Right? So if someone is offering something of value to you, like preparing your taxes, you actually want to pay them because there's innately within you a desire for there to be an equal exchange of value.
Yeah, that's why bartering feels weird to me. I don't necessarily agree sometimes, most of the time, with a bartering situation.
Right.
So, and, money does make the economy go, so it's
contributing to the flow of the economy.
You're contributing to the flow
when
of the
you
economy.
spend.
Yeah. Yes. So basically, we can do a whole Travel Talk Live episode on the mechanics of charging service fees. That's not what this is about. This is about, our conversation today is about helping empower you and get over the big block of your self-worth and understanding where that comes from, which is what Meredith was highlighting in her story and how that's connected. In terms of the mechanics of charging a service fee, I would strongly recommend you go back to your host agency. I know we, as our sister company, Give to Travel Network, we've got a lot of information about that in our member portal, and I'm sure for those of you that are happily hosted with other host agencies, they would be an excellent resource for you in terms of certain things, because there's certain seller traveler laws and licensing, especially in California and Florida. So check with your host agencies. But in terms of this conversation for Travel Talk Live, it's a very we gave you the practical tip, which is start charging. You need to, you're a professional. Yes. And Meredith's story really highlighted the fact that you all have a brilliance.
Yeah, you have to own it. You're born with it. It's natural.
And that's part of why you're not charging the fee.
Yes. It's time to start realizing you have a brilliance, figure out what it is, own it, value it, and when you value it, your prospects and clients will value it too.
Yes, and if your and this is like a whole other Travel Talk Live, so I'm going to open a can of worms here when ending the Travel Talk Live, but how the clients are showing up for the agents, aren't they a mirror?
Oh, totally a mirror.
So instead of getting frustrated with how people are responding to your need to charge a service fee, or they just went quietly into the night, or they disappeared, right? Or they said no, or they rejected you, or whatever. First of all, don't go watch the how-to video on how to deal with rejection if that happens to you. But also know that get curious, right? Yeah, it's just a really great learning opportunity.
It is. It's just an indicator of what you're putting out, what you're spewing.
That's a whole other Travel Talk Live episode. Your vibe, right? It's an indicator
of the vibe.
So did you like this episode? Give us a like or a love, and keep the conversation going if you want to here on this thread. You've got so much goodness and resources here of the people that are on the live. If you charge service fees, go ahead and drop a comment.
I love Renee's comment. You're helping me so
I
much
know.
today.
Renee's
I'm seeing
awesome.
clarity.
She's like our biggest
and even have tears in my
Travel
eyes.
Talk
Aw.
Live fan, Renee. We so appreciate you. So go ahead and leave a comment here for Travel Talk Live and for the service fee conversation. If you're a gift member, go ahead and keep the conversation going in the forum.
Yep.
If something just came up for you and you have a question
about
practical or
service
mindset,
fees, yep.
pop it in the gift member forum and keep the conversation going and the love going for this conversation. So we are at the end of our episode.
Yes.
We will be back next Tuesday at noon.
Yep.
So come back to us.
Yeah.
And we're so excited for the Travel Talk Live. This is episode 11
Yay.
and we really appreciate it. Our audience is growing every week, so share it out and let all your travel agent friends know about the show.
Yep.
Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
for joining us. Bye.